Good morning. My name is Dr. Nika Prather, and I just felt really led to share this in video form, and I'm praying that it is a blessing to someone. I'm going to try to make this as really brief as possible. Um, just a little bit about myself. I don't normally talk about my background or my credentials much because I just am not that kind of person, but I feel that since this is going out to a lot of people, I feel like it's important to put that in there so you can just have a reference point. I have a BA in elementary education from Howard University. I have a master's in theater education from New York University, a master's in music education from Howard University, a master's in liberal arts from St. John's College, and a PhD in curriculum and instruction from the University of Maryland, College Park. I taught in Montgomery County Public Schools for quite a few years. I went from there to work on my PhD and served as a university supervisor in public schools where I would oversee student teachers and mentor student teachers. I have taught in private schools as well, and then I've gone on to be education director of education in a private school, a principal of another private school, and now I'm the founder of my own school. I am purposely leaving out the name of my school in this video. I don't want this video to be about people thinking I'm trying to advertise that. This is really, I have a heart for parents who are struggling getting their kids through their traditional or public school during this time of the quarantine. I just don't want kids to get behind. I personally came out of traditional education in order to meet the needs of my son, but I am not against traditional education. I am not against the public schools. I believe in school choice, and I believe that as long as you're loving and relating to kids well, kids can learn no matter what your preferences may be. And I just want to honor all philosophies right now. So I hope you can receive that. So this is not going to be a critique of any philosophy or any school system or anything like that. I just want to help, because when this quarantine is over, we all are going to go back to our normal lives. Our kids are going to go back to school. And I'm seeing posts from parents who are frustrated saying they're just going to let their kids go. They can't do this. And unless you're planning to place your child in like a Montessori school or an unschool or a Sudbury school or a Democratic school or a more free thinking type of school, but you're planning to put them back in the traditional school, you cannot stop. Like, you cannot give up. Okay. And so let me just tell you my next thoughts, and I hope that encourages you. And I'm hoping that I can give you something to just help you keep your child moving forward during this time. Okay, so I have come up with it's something I've always used when I've had students who are struggling with staying on top, really focusing on certain key educational things so that they don't fall behind, because sometimes we can get so overwhelmed by the child struggling that we focus on that subject they're struggling on, and all these other skill levels are falling behind, and so they keep being behind. But I found that if you focus on certain skill things, you can at least keep them floating. And as those skills strengthen, they eventually actually begin to really progress, no matter what the circumstance is. And so I have just created 4 main things that I want to encourage parents to do. This may call for you to step away from what your school has given you, and I'm hoping that this is okay. But if you're not able to and you're not going to do it, you can't just if you're putting your child back in that school, they have to keep learning, because when we go back, I mean, I just know this from experience, and maybe your school is different, but the schools are not going to go back and reteach whatever they missed these last few months of school. So those are going to be holes. They're not going to go back and fill those in. They're not going to do any specialized tutoring. They're going to give, most likely, now your school may be different, but most likely they're going to give your child the grade that they ended with when this quarantine stuff started. And then they're going to teach your child the very next thing they have to learn for their grade level, whatever they're in. So for example, if you have a high schooler who stopped taking Algebra 1 in early March, they've given you a packet. Yes, most likely it's not going to be graded. And I'm not saying that as a critique. It's just really difficult to do. I'm not saying this because your teacher is a bad teacher. It's just a lot to be able to keep up with doing it virtually. So most likely, and there's no way to really manage testing and giving valid grades because everything's being done at home. And so they're going to probably give your child the grade that they ended with when you all came out of the schools to go into quarantine. And then when you start, like, so if your child was taking Algebra 1, uh, when the quarantine started, when they go back to school next year, they're not going to go back and reteach Algebra 1 and all that stuff they missed. They're going to pick up with geometry or Algebra 2, whatever math they have to go in for that grade. And so there's going to be this bridge that's going to be broken between the two places. So it is very key that you do some things during this quarantine. Even if you can't do what was been assigned to you, you can't keep up with it. There are 4 things I want to give you so that when your child goes back to school, they're not struggling so much. There's not so many holes. Hopefully the bridge is very strong. You've like really gotten into these 4 things I'm going to give you, and they're like on top of it. But at the least, if you just do a little bit of this every day, when they go back, it won't be so challenging. There won't be so many holes. The bridge won't be so weak and creaky. So here are the 4 things. So I'm going to share them with you. And then after I share them verbally, I have made a poster for you to see where you can just kind of refer back to it and remember. The first thing I want to encourage you to do is to allow your child to pick a book that they want to read. Don't be too picky about it. Now, my son may try to pick a book, and even though he's 10, that's for a toddler, and you may have to micromanage that a little bit. But as long as it has a good storyline, or is a good, if it's fiction, it's a good story, good storyline, and if it's nonfiction, it's giving really good, valuable information. But they pick a book. Now you can't get to the library now, but you can download books at Amazon. So I would buy these books and then download them to their device so they can read them if you don't have books already at home. You have them read the book and make sure it's not too thick. And we as parents want our kids to be strong readers, so we have a habit of saying, you're going to read 5 million chapters. Like, please don't do that. I mean, they're under enough stress as it is with this whole virus thing. Let them pick a book that they can enjoy, that is not stressful, and have them read it, and make sure it's not too long so they can read it within a week. So even if your child is in high school and they pick a really good picture book, okay, people are going to be mad with me for saying this, but I'm just going to be real. Let them read it. Let them just get lost in a nice little story that has a good storyline, that has a lot of writing in it, even though it's a picture book, that they can just read it and get into it and get into the character and the problem and the protagonist and all of that. It's not about saying that your child read a 5 million page book, okay? We want to keep them just reading. So you have them read, and then you have them write a book report on it. And you could base it on how old they are. If they're a little one, maybe 3 to 5 sentences. But if they're like high school, son, I'm gonna need you to give me like 5 paragraphs, an essay, a page at least of writing, of summary. Don't get all caught up on, is everything grammatically correct? Do some basic editing, but don't feel stressed out about, I have to be this perfect English teacher. You just want to get them writing. Why do I know this work? Where did I get this idea from? I got this idea from Ben Carson's mother, who was illiterate, but she would make him read and do a book report, I think, every week. And I think that exercise, even though she couldn't read, she couldn't even grade it, but she made him read a book and do a book report every week. And I think what that did was that created this interest in just reading. And I've seen it work, so I've already proven it. So a book report every week, and I hope that makes sense. Your child, if they are in high school especially, and they are not able to independently do their high school level math, it is not because there's anything wrong with your child. It is because someone back in elementary school did not teach them math properly. They just passed them through and didn't make sure they had the basic skill levels. Research has shown that if your child is strong at least 4th grade math, they should be able to do high school level maths. So with that note, I want to share with you this. If your child is able to do math independently, or maybe you have a husband or a family member who can kind of help them, or you can find somebody's Zoom room that can help them, yes, have them keep working through their math. But if you do not have those resources, I want you to go online. You can message me if you need me to help you, and find a 4th grade level math book, a 5th grade level math book, and a 6th grade level math book. Start with the 4th grade. Use this time to fill in the holes. Use this time to strengthen what they're missing. Because if you strengthen their basic math level, even if they didn't finish, when they go back, they will have everything they need to continue on with whatever math they're teaching. Listen, you've got to listen to me. So you go through and you review. You start with fourth grade. They'll probably zip through that because most kids can't even when they have holes. The fifth grade, they'll start coming to some walls, but most of us can help our kids work through fifth and then get through sixth. And then spend this time through the summer doing that. That is so important, okay? You can do that. All of us can do that. Okay, but if they're able to work independently, let them work through whatever math level they're in. But if you notice that you're struggling, don't get angry with them. Don't be frustrated. They're not lazy. They're not dumb. They're not slow. They don't have a learning disability, most likely. They just didn't get the basic math skills they needed in elementary school. So if you are not able to help them with whatever math they're in for high school, go back, find a fourth grade level math book, fifth grade level math book, sixth grade level math book, and have them do a few exercises in each unit every day, a couple, 2 to 4 pages every day, just working through that, and do that through the summer. Do not stop. Or find an online one that allows them to do that. And Komodo Math is a really good one for doing that, and it assesses where your kid is, and they just keep the exercises coming as they build up their skill level. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is, because things kind of build on the other. So I would have your child do a history research project. Now, this is not like science fair project. This is not you making them do a poster board. Mom, don't do too much. What I would encourage you to do, just if they were in their school year, if they were studying, say, world history, then have them pick. World history is any history outside of the United States of America. So it could be Canada, it could be Africa, it could be a country in Africa, it could be China, it could be anywhere. And then just have them pick places outside of America that they can research. If they were doing American history, go through and look up American history. American history is not U.S. history. American history is the history of the discovery of the Americas, the explorers and all of that stuff. You know, what happened before the United States, all the way up to, I think, the 13 colonies. Anything that happened before the United States was a formal country. So if they were doing U.S. history, then of course it's the history of the United States. If they're doing geography, then they're studying the different lands of the world, the geographical attributes such as rivers, oceans, mountain ranges, and things like that. And then finally, and then government would be another history. You're studying what the U.S. government, how that functions. So those are different histories. And just let them pick a topic. You might have a discussion about it. They pick a topic, and then you say, okay, now go online and look. And they cannot use Wikipedia. No. But they can go online. They can use Britannica. They can use any well-known news sources. They can use different things like that, and try to find reliable sources, and they could just look up and read a little bit of a summary on it and write up a short summary with it and just tell you what they learned. That's it. That keeps them just engaged with whatever it is they were learning when they came out. It may not be perfect. There's no testing. There's no research project that's 10 pages long. It's just keeping them engaged with the information. And then finally, science research. That's the fourth thing, science research. And that science research would be any science. Is it earth science? And if you put that in a search, you can find it. So earth science, physical science, human body and anatomy, life science, biology, chemistry, physics, botany. Those are the different sciences. Whatever your child, you need to find out whatever it is your child was learning, and just let them do the same thing they did with the history project. Go in, give me a little bit, read a little bit, and write up, what you found. Please don't overdo this. Please don't make them do too much, okay? This is stressful, but we want to keep their minds engaged. And then they just share it with you in the afternoon. Just say, what did you come up with, son? What did you come up with, daughter? Wow, you learned that about earthworms? Wow, you learned that about the human body? Wow, you learned about the bone system? Okay, and then that's it. And then really this takes at max 2 hours to do, okay, of work. So the book report, for example, they're reading a little bit every day until they finish the book, unless they finish the book in one day. And then they work on it the next day, but it's weekly. The book report, the history, and the science research is weekly. Math is every single day, 5 days a week, now until school starts next year. And so I would just do those things. If you cannot do what your school is giving you, do this. And I'm praying that this keeps your child engaged. And I would set it up, write it up clearly, set up a center in your house with all the resources they need, their laptop, this list of assignments to do each day that you're looking for. So if they're doing the book report that's due, say, Friday for you, you're going to say, son, I want you to read a chapter a day. I want you to finish. If it's a short book, I want you to make sure you finish reading the book. Okay, start working on the rough draft for it. Like each day, give them a task with these 4 things so that they get done, and then let them work independently. When they're done, please leave them alone. Let them play on their tablets. Let them play on their computers. Stop stressing over too much screen time. It is not going to kill them. They need to escape this foolishness that we're in right now and let them go. Let them go. Let them be at peace. Keep their minds a little bit engaged, and I pray you survive. And if you notice the poster that I created, the acronym, I like acronyms because they help you remember, spells out the word BASH. And I love that word because we want to, we're all kind of living in fear. We have a lot of anxiety. We're trying to work from home. We have our kids. We don't want them to get behind. We don't know what the future holds. But, God has not given us a spirit of fear. And I want you to take what I share with you and let's take one thing to be fearful about off your plate and just bash it. Just take over, remove that fear. Bash. B, book report. A, arithmetic every day. S, science, a little science research every week. H, a little history research every week. I'm going to say it again. B, book report every week. A, arithmetic review every day. S, a little science research and sharing with you every week. H, a little history research and sharing it with you every week. Bash it in. This way, you're not just giving up, but you're giving your children something so that when they go back to whatever traditional school they're going to next year, they are ready. So remember, bash, you got this. So I really hope this video was helpful to you. I wanted to make it. I'm uploading it in YouTube. You can keep referring to it. I've made the poster so you can look at it and just hear the information. Again, my name is Dr. Anika Tanae Prather. I currently have my own school. I'm also a consultant with the College of Education for Johns Hopkins University. I've had over almost 30 years of experience in public and private school education. I've given TED Talks. I often give lectures and speeches. I've done some at the University of Maryland. I've done some at St. John's College, just on education. And just trying to give the best to our children. And I'm praying for all of you. I don't know who you are, but I'm praying that we all make this, and may no child get lost in this mess, and may the peace of God be with you all.